Hello everyone and welcome to Attic Gaming Club episode 13. Hooray! With me today we have, as always, the ever wonderful Tom.
Hello.
The ever despicable Sam.
Yeah, you're damn right.
The occasionally present Dan.
Yo.
And Dave. What? Anyway, what is wrong with you?
They can't see what's
happening.
happening.
Such a flid. Anyway, yes, so, welcome everyone. Episode 13. Oh, God, okay. Let's stop making noise so people are giving me money
around the table and not do a podcast.
Excellent. Could you have given me any more shrapnel?
Sorry, that was literally what I had.
It's fine.
I had an extra 5p in my pocket. And...
Paying for your kebab in 20p's and 10p's. That's fine.
I know you love change, dude.
I love change.
It's legal tender.
Sponsored Obama. Anyway, so, how's everyone doing?
Are you asking the listeners or us?
No, you.
Okay.
Well, are they going to respond to me, are they?
Maybe. They
I'm
could
good.
phone in.
0800.
I am good. I have no news. I have been up to nothing.
Excellent, right, so we can just skip over Tom until we get to the gaming part of the show then.
Sam.
Sam, have you been up to... Oh, okay, right,
Sam.
hang on, wait. Right, so,
Sam.
let's move on to the news. Sam, do you have any news?
I'm going nap.
Me, news, The only piece of news I have is that the Soulforge game, which is a digital online card game created by Stoneblade Games, which is, I've talked about a little bit before, used to be Gary Games, got Brian Kibler involved, loads of other people who play Magic professionally or used to, and also used to work for VS System and stuff like this. They recently launched their game, essentially. It was a Kickstarter, and now they've basically managed to get it up and running after a period of, I don't know, it's been about 6 months or so. The beta's about to launch, I think, maybe in a couple of weeks. I've been involved with it from the very beginning. It looks awesome. I've got a couple of the starter decks, which is part of what my Kickstarter contribution got me, and they're really good. The cards are pretty awesome. And you can basically only play it on the iPad, I think, at the moment. And they're going to put it onto the internet and Android as well, like as in regular internet and Android.
It's all digital only, there's no physical.
Yeah, there's no physical cards, it's going to be your own. The way it works is it's like a lane system, so you've got 5 lanes, and whatever you have in the lanes attacks every turn the thing that's in the opposite lane.
Okay.
Like Might and Magic, kind of. Was it Might and Magic? The
Yeah.
PC game? Was that?
I don't know, I've never played that, so I can't really comment. And you can play 2 cards per turn, and your cards rotate. So you get 5 cards, you play 2 of them, then the 2 cards you play level up. Each card's got 3 levels. And then after you've gone through your deck, you go to level 2, and the cards that leveled up will be put into your deck as their second level version. And there are 3 levels, so you do that again till you get to level 3.
Interesting.
And it keeps going on, and so like I assume you can get to like level whatever, like probably unlimited. But eventually, every single card in your deck would be the level 3 version of that card, which is much more powerful than the level 1 version of the card. And there's loads of other extra side effects. They've got like a swiftness thing, which is the same as like haste in Magic, can attack turn it comes into play. They've got like a bunch of sack effects and like loads of other different like generic kind of card game processes involved. But the way that the game actually works is quite original and unique. Because of the levelling up process, really.
That's what a card game needs to be.
And it looks really good so far. So I've got my 2 starter decks. I'm waiting for the beta to start, and then hopefully kick some ass online. And it'll probably eventually mean I'll have to get myself an Android phone so that I can play it on the way to work and shit.
Yay, join us.
So, I want to get that Samsung Giant thing that's massive because I just can't handle
the Note
tablet. I can't handle phones unless they literally are the size of a tablet. So
That's a good job they have a new size of phone called a phablet.
Really?
That's literally what those are called.
Awesome.
Phablet.
Yeah, PHA.
Because they're fabulous.
Well, I'll get me one of those just so that I can play this because I've got like a load of free stuff that I can use on it when it first comes out. Like I can play the beta, I think unlimited for free basically, and then after that's finished, I've got a load of free shit that I'll get. So
You can buy my Nexus 4 off me when I get my Google Glass. How about that?
you can buy my Google Glass off me when I steal your Google Glass.
Anyway.
possibly.
Yeah.
Is it the size of like? Is it Mahusive?
Well, you've seen one, so it's pretty big.
Possibly.
I'm
Anyone who tunes
like
in right now is going, you've seen mine, it's pretty big.
To be fair, Google
I have.
Google Glass isn't going to be out for ages, so...
Yeah, like, whatever. Anyway, so that's the only news I have. Otherwise, I've been really busy with my new job. So
Nice.
Yeah, equal jobs.
Excellent.
they equal money. Therefore,
Dan the
hopefully
man with the ham and the spam.
No news.
What's the plan?
I'm sorry.
No news.
No.
Shocker. Debu, your hair's getting really long.
Yeah, I need to cut it.
I say your hair.
That's a bit of a
yeah.
weird description as well, because anyone who knows me knows that I virtually have no hair. Woo!
But that you do have of it is quite long
Yes, and scruffy.
and scruffy.
I was thinking about maybe doing like one of those hat things the bikers do, so they can grow without me, you know, and then eventually have a ponytail again, or not.
You could do the Japanese samurai thing.
Japanese?
Where you just Japanese.
Is that
samurai.
Ulrika the Johnson's best friend? Japanese.
Yeah. That's what happens when you spend too long in Japan. You get Japanized.
Oh, zing.
It's
Yeah, enough.
Dramatic.
It does. Enough of your hair. Have you got any news?
Most of my news was going to be the Kickstarter things, but you've got a list and I haven't, and I can't half remember them. So
I don't have a list, to be honest. The only one I've got. Well, let's move on to that then. So,
okay,
there's
Kickstarters.
a bunch
Dave has
of-
no news.
bunch of new Kickstarter things that have popped up and we have missed. But it's worth it's worth talking about them because they will eventually be games
Because
that
they
people can buy. So I saw the other day this Wild West Exodus game. So it's a 35mm miniature game set in a dark Wild West setting where strange technologies rule the Old West. Death lurks at every corner. Can you tell I'm reading from the Kickstarter page?
No, I thought you were making it up, you marketing genius.
Basically it's like steampunk. Steampunk and sort of dark fantasy in the Wild West.
seems good.
Yeah, so you've got, but they're quite cool stuff. So you get like the usual, cowboy-looking guys and stuff like that. But you've also got like I think they're called the Union. I was just trying to find them.
Yeah, Union.
So they're kind of like army men,
Exactly, and you get
like Confederates or something.
yeah,
like
exactly
that.
the Union, and you get literally Confederates, and they got guns and stuff like that. Union soldiers.
And
And
they have
whatnot.
some demony looking guys as well.
Yeah, and you've got you've got the Outlaws, which are, I guess, like your kind of cowboy, your traditional what you would imagine to be cowboys. You know, they've all got the long jackets and the tall hats and that kind of shit. Then you've got the Warrior Nation, which are basically the Native Americans.
Yeah.
I have
So-
only one question for this game.
Go on.
Do you have banditos?
Well, that will be the Outlaws, surely.
Yeah, but they're like Mexican outlaws. That's what I need.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. I don't think so yet, but it's just starting
Make
out.
your
But yeah,
Make your own banditos. Yeah. Awesome.
They also got like a boss character as well, didn't they? Which is sort of the big chunky dude with a big gun or whatever.
Yeah. So
Which
each
is
side, I believe that's all the three. Oh no, the Enlightened. That was it. Which are kind of like your steampunk-y kind of techno freak guys. Think of the guys from Wild West. Wild West with Will
Jim
Smith.
West,
Oh,
Right,
okay, got it,
No,
yeah.
you don't
You know,
want
big-
none of this. None of this
So
brother.
essentially,
Fuck us all.
are they
Mechanical
like,
spiders.
Are they trying to be kind of like the Pinkertons or something? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know what the Pinkertons is. So
Like the original,
What?
like the origins of the
The
FBI.
Pinkertons?
Yeah.
They are like Wild West legend.
okay, cool. Maybe I don't know.
So,
Okay, whatever.
Anyway,
Next.
so yeah, they got cool characters. They got like Billy the Kid, and they got like Abe Lincoln, who's a character in it.
awesome. Is he a vampire hunter?
He's got a big axe, so quite possibly. Yeah, and then like a big walking spider thing, which is basically okay. Well, Dave has another Kickstarter, so I guess we're finished with Wild West.
Well, you can carry on if you want.
It's finished now on Kickstarter, but you can go onto the site and look at all the models and stuff like that, and then get a link to their website so that when it does finally come out, if this interests
You
you,
can still give them your money.
you can buy
Awesome.
stuff from them.
Awesome.
Go on, Dave.
I'm just gonna like email them. You need to make banditos.
Yes.
More
Go on, Dave.
banditos!
What was your Kickstarter that you wanted to?
The one I saw was called Arena Rex, I think. And it's basically gladiators.
With dinosaurs?
If you modelled your own models and made dinosaurs, then yes, otherwise no.
Oh, okay.
But lots of cool, very limited miniatures range from what I saw. Lots of gladiators in funky poses. You get a square board, a bit like Gladiator Arena, I guess. And you move your people around. It's obviously got a rule set, and I have no idea how it works. But the models look nice, and it's something that's a bit different, I guess, for the
There's a
the
guy
miniature
riding a
gaming
bull.
thing. In Arena Rex, I don't think there is.
I think there is.
Wow, that's impressive. I want it even more now.
And a lion.
This is also finished though, and boo, because I missed it and I might have actually gone in for it.
Yeah, that one's actually finished quite low, 57,000 of a 20,000 goal, which
But it's enough.
yeah, it's funded, so
Yeah.
you will get it. But compared
I
to
can understand maybe there's not enough extravagance in there for people to go OTT like they did with the Kingdom Monster and the other ones that you get.
the Wild West
I don't know,
was
the Wild West.
320,000 of a 20,000 goal.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, what are the ones we've seen?
Zombicide 2 and the expansion for the first game. That's
Yeah, the second wave or whatever it's called.
I think that finished just recently, a couple of days ago, or maybe there's a little bit left. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We'll put links in the thing page on the place with the stuff, and you can go and check it out.
There was one that I couldn't remember the name of, but it's called something like Treasure Dice. And it comes in like a little treasure chest, and it's like a whole bunch of different dice that you.
Oh, and you roll them, and you have like battles with them. and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it looks kind of
I can't remember what it's
interesting.
called.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's something like Treasure Dice. That looks kind of funky. And then there's a whole bunch of random dice ones. Like,
Some more impressive than others.
there was one called Artisan Dice.
That
And
one
it's-
was nice.
The company basically makes dice out of all kinds of funky wood. So they've got 20 different types of wood. So you can get like blood maple and stuff, and it's like a red wood. And you get your dice set out of that.
Wood.
And they
It
also
was quite
do
expensive though, wasn't it?
different metals and stuff. Yeah, it's quite expensive.
Even for just the wood die, obviously, because you can get ones that I think are made from 20 different
I just want
types of
platinum
wood, as well
dice,
as ones that
please.
are just one.
I'll have 100 platinum dice.
Well, they do custom orders, so...
Don't you mean gold pressed platinum dice?
I actually just want, diamond dice.
What about laudanum dice? That would be good.
Laudanum.
Laudanum.
Anyway.
Wood for me.
Yeah. So, yeah, they were pretty cool. And there was rocket dice!
Rocket dice.
And
There
it was
can never
literally
be enough rocket dice in your life.
dice that look like rockets.
Oh, okay.
If you've seen my little bone dice I use for my vampire counts, that are kind of... They're a D6, but they're cylindrical. So they land on a surface,
I like a flattened.
but they can't land on the edges. So they're like those, but they're shaped like rockets.
It's like most dice. Doesn't really land on the edge.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I'm just being a dick.
Shocker. New stuff, new information. Yeah, so that was all the Kickstarters that I could think of.
There was that other dice one that was the only unique selling point was 2 sides of every dice was a different colour. So you'd have a red dice with yellow pips, but the 1 and the 6 would be white pips. And
Is it like...
I read that and I was a bit, don't give a shit. Why are you even on Kickstarter? Go away.
It's like if you're colourblind, you cannot read these dice, basically.
Maybe, except they were marketing it as more, well, hey, this is the best thing ever, come and buy our dice because we've got 2 different colours on it. And no, thanks.
I like the idea of having a dice with one side that's very distinctive,
Yeah.
so that you know.
You could
You
choose
know-
though. You could do the 1 and the 6 or the 2
It's
and the
not
3
really that
or the 5
awesome
and the 4s.
original,
So
though,
it
is
wasn't
it?
trying to make it stand out for the point of...
I'd almost just want one side though. I don't want the ones.
Yeah.
If I'm rolling 30 dice because I'm in combat with something, a unit of Skaven or whatever, and I just want to pick up the 6s or something
Yeah.
because of poison, it'd be good if those ones were red
These are my
faced,
poison dice. or
and
whatever.
those ones were
Yeah.
everything else was white faced. So you could just pick out the
Bit
red
easier
ones
to
instantly.
see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not something
I can
that I would.
understand that. It's just that there wasn't any mention of that as a reason for doing it. They were just like, yeah, different colours on some of your pips, woo.
Yeah.
Which seemed a bit random to me.
And
I don't know.
it would be pointless having 6 and 1 because it's like I don't want to see the ones.
Maybe
I
you
want
do.
to see the
Maybe you want to
sixes.
know all the hits and all the misses.
They'd have to basically be different colours, wouldn't they?
But they were very different. So it was like orange and whites and stuff like that.
Oh, so, well...
Like
I
the
mean,
1
that's
and the
kinda
6 were white
useful,
and all
but
the other
I
numbers
don't
were
think
orange.
it's particularly original.
I think we spent way too much time discussing this unimpressive Kickstarter. And I'm not even going to put a link for it on the website because it sucks that much.
Right.
No, I think you should.
Okay, fine.
Go
I'll
and
call it
laugh at
sucky dice.
Sucky dice. Well, no, they might be nice dice.
No,
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
they look like normal D6s, and it's hard to have an unimpressive dice because once it's in your hand, you just like, oh, hello, dice. You're so cute.
Still talking about the dice.
I know, shut up.
Actually, on the topic of stuff that
Don't
people
carry
were trying
on.
to sell, that was awful. Someone put on Twitter
Who?
a link to an eBay auction, which is a picture of a 5,000 point Skaven army, and this person saying, "I'm selling this beautifully printed 5,000 point Skaven army," and it initially looked like you were getting a 5,000 point Skaven army until you read down it, and he was actually selling a photograph of the army,
Nice.
and you didn't. He changed the description several times to make it more obvious because.
People are obviously
Yeah,
confused
someone saw it.
and complaining.
People were bidding
Yeah, that's
on it.
like against the...
Yeah.
It is intentionally
Yeah.
misleading.
So what happened was...
It would
as
just
soon
get
as
taken
that-
off
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
as soon as I appeared on
admins.
Twitter, he must have got at least 30 or 40 people flagging it up as spam.
Mm.
But it was just kind of depressing that somebody would be that much of a dick.
I'm sure, well,
Do you
like
know
you
what-
said, people were bidding on it, so I'm sure there's someone that actually knew it was a picture and wanted it.
Well, at least one person told me that he was just going to bid on it with a new account and not pay, just so nobody else got stung on it.
Well, that's it. And if you bid up £1,000 on it or whatever, that guy's then going to get hit with £100 worth of fees.
Well,
eBay
he'll
fees.
get it back. if
But
he
he'll
doesn't
have to
sell.
claim it back.
Yes.
That's the whole point. It'll put a shitload of stuff, and he can't do anything else with his PayPal accounts, and it all goes through because he knows that if he doesn't do anything, he's going to get stung with the fee.
Yeah.
So I would have done it just to annoy him.
I think it was taken off in the end, but it was just an amusing
Punk.
instance that happened.
That's
Silliness.
ridiculous.
It's absolutely silliness.
Yeah,
loads
it is.
of people do that all the time. Though.
People are knobheads. I remember a few years ago there was a real bad problem with people putting epic Thunderhawks and epic Baneblades and stuff like this, but just saying for sale, Imperial Guard Baneblade, you know, and then just having like a really like a picture that you couldn't really see or no picture or something like that, and the description was really lacking. So all you had, the only information was Imperial Guard Baneblade, and then you'd get a epic Beyblade through the post if you bid on it, and there was a real problem with it.
People are punks.
I did see somebody selling a PlayStation 4 that was 2 PlayStation 2 stuck together.
That's brilliant.
I thought that was
That
quite
deserves to get rid of.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually awesome.
I thought that was quite good. But yeah, there you go.
That is
So-
actually awesome.
Any other news from anyone?
Nope.
No. Anything we've been up to? Dave and I played a game of fantasy last week, didn't we?
I won.
Dave didn't win.
I won.
First game in...
Moral victory
What morals? You lost and
'Cause I'm the
deserved
best.
to lose.
in the world ever.
Anyway, first game for like
Ages.
months, wasn't
I
it?
know.
Until like...
We haven't had a game since the podcast started.
No, way before that.
Is that
Since-
because you
Yeah,
started the
because I
game
was
all
there
those
for
months
one.
ago and it's taken Dave that long to work out what to do in his turn and it's an ongoing
I
game?
bet you
or-
love.
I like it. That's true, to be fair. I was painting entire armies while he was taking his turn. But no, it was Dave's Warriors of Chaos versus my Undead. What do you have on your list, Dave? Just
I
quickly.
had 40 Marauders, Mark of Corn, Festus in a unit of 18, Warriors of Chaos, another unit of 18 Warriors of Chaos with a character in it or something, Demon Prince of Nurgle, who's running around doing his spells and shit, and some Knights and a War Shrine.
Cool.
And I learned some valuable lessons.
I had 2 units of 49 Skeleton Warriors, 1 unit of 10 Skeleton Warriors, 1 unit of 40 Graveguard, 1 unit of 12 Black Knights,
Punk.
level 4 Lamian themed Vampiress on a... Is it Hellsteed, the one that can fly?
Yes.
Yeah, Hellsteed. 1 white king on foot and 1 white king on
Steed.
steed, and then a level 2 vampire, pretty much naked.
All punks.
Very Lamian theme, didn't go for any of the cheese items, but I still beat you!
You had that fucking... I get 2 of my power dice back every turn.
The Black
Rubbish.
Parapet. Was it Black Parapet?
Black
Or
Perry Apt, I believe.
Periapt, whatever. Yeah, that one.
Black thing that is...
Yeah, but to be fair,
It's expensive, admittedly, so it's, you
55
pay for it.
points, and... Yeah, it's kind of a bit
You
gross.
keep your dice crossed.
And it wouldn't have worked so much if you didn't suck at rolling magic spells.
I got most of my magic spells off. The dice were shit though. Like it was always 2s and 3s. No, so what I mean is the magic, the winds of magic
Blame
at the beginning.
dice.
It was always 2s and 3s, so there wasn't a
Because
lot of
they
power
are
dice
the
to use.
cunts.
Also, war shrines are pretty much pointless.
War Shrines are amazing. I just shut it down. I made sure
Yeah,
to
well, that's
shut it
my
down
point.
every time. They're
One-
definitely a
one
lot
dice
worse
gone.
now
One
than
dice
they
gone.
used to
One
be.
dice gone.
Yeah.
But
Now that it's a bounce spell, you just cancel it all the time.
yeah, that's fun.
I'm playing in a one-day fantasy tournament tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should be fun in Wandsworth.
Nice.
Nice little quiet event. So I'll
Testing
have
out your
some...
tree men of doom.
Yeah, taking 3 tree men. I don't really. The list is good, but it's a smaller version of the list I like, so I had to make a few cuts to get it all in.
How many
Instead
points?
of paying 2,400,
Right. What's your normal list? 2-5 or?
2,500 or 2,600.
Oh, right.
So I
Okay.
had to cut 200 points worth of stuff, which is a pain, but whatever. Those are rules.
Nice.
Density rules.
Playing our game spurred me on to want to paint some more,
Mm.
and I've actually almost painted my first unit of skeleton. Check
Dun,
that
dun.
shit out. If I carry on at this rate, I might actually get to go to a tournament this year with a
Yeah.
fully painted army. Crazy. But I enjoy painting them, so yeah.
Do you have to have your army painted before they'll let you play?
Yeah,
Or-
3 colours and based usually.
Right.
Yeah.
It does depend on the
but-
tournament, doesn't it, in general? But
Yeah.
most of them want that.
The one I'm going to tomorrow, you don't have to have your army painted for.
No.
It's a practice event.
Nice. But, you know, it's just like... But I can't do like a half-assed job. I can't bring myself to do a half-assed job on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So I can't just sort of slap 3 colours on and be like, done. You know, so...
Seems like a waste, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you're going to spend time doing it, you might as well do it right.
Yeah. But, there you go. You painted any more high elves?
I have not, no,
Rubbish.
unfortunately.
Need to bring them over. Need to have a game.
It's true, but I don't think I've really got an army yet, I guess. With that involved, I'd possibly have an army. I still...
That's being Island of Blood.
Yes.
Sorry, yes. That's true.
Pseudo people that are listening. Just
I guess I've got enough for an army, just with what I have, plus that Island of Blood set, but I probably need some of the more, hitty stuff, etc. So
How many Swordmasters are in Island of Blood?
a lot.
10.
they're not really like they're good, but they're pretty fragile. So
They're
I don't want to
amazeballs.
just run a buttload of them, then
They're
to
the
just get them
end
shot
of
up.
Warhammer.
The end of
It wouldn't be so
Warhammer.
bad against Tom because he would just shoot them all to death before they get to
Yeah.
anywhere. But against my army, I've got nothing to shoot at them, and I don't really use direct damage.
Right, chop them up.
You'll beat them with Skeleton Warriors.
Really?
Yeah, because you can afford to lose 10 from unit 50, he can't afford to lose 4 from unit of 10.
True.
And that's because of casualty rate you'll be looking at over a couple of rounds.
What was that weird rule you said about if they've got
Anyway.
always strike first and the highest initiative?
They get to re-roll
Yeah.
their...
Yeah, you get to reroll. That's under
Ah,
the
that
rules,
was it.
isn't it? So
Yeah, that's bullshit. My old players suck.
True fact.
they still have to deal with toughness.
Whatever. Deal with it.
There you go.
Oh,
True-
well,
true
don't
words.
worry, don't worry.
But there you go. Yeah,
So anyway,
so...
my army's still under construction, and hopefully, we'll get to play a game of it at some point. So, but I haven't really done anything for anything, in fact. So,
How's your army done?
My army is in my pants.
It's a very small army then.
Well, whatever.
50 point.
50
Right, we digress.
so
Move on.
So fantasy, cool, enjoyed, want to play more.
we did you say? Was there a thing last week? I don't know.
What?
This.
Yes.
Okay. Did you say about the tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, he covered it.
I explained how we got crushed.
Said you both got
So
absolutely
there's no
mangled.
need-
Hey, I disagree with this, seeing as I ended up with a 50-50 record.
Oh, okay. I did actually say I wasn't quite sure how you ended up.
This is the Magic the Gathering tournament that Dan and Sam went to last week, by the way.
I ended up with a 50-50 record. Thank you very much. So, and I had potentially 2 more games to make that better, but I decided the pub was much more interesting, and it was. To be fair.
It was good.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So what are we going to play this evening, Adam?
Well, I haven't finished talking about what I've been doing yet,
Oh,
Tom.
god damn it.
Why are you in such a rush to move things on? Well, okay, let me be really quick. I bought some bases for my Necromunda. Excellent.
Woo!
I also bought Star Trek, the deck building game. Which happens...
the next generation.
That's how I feel about that
It's got a
game.
longer name.
There we go. Which also happens to be what we're going to be playing today. So it's a deck building game, in the same vein as Dominion and
Love it already.
Tanto Core Air and all those other ones, and Among the
Core
Stars
Worlds, we
and
played
Core
that one,
Worlds
didn't
and all that kind of junk. It is slightly different. I have been reading the rules. I need to touch over them quickly before we play. But essentially, it's the same sort of thing. You pick a mission. There's one of 3 different types of missions that you can play as a group. You can either play Exploration, which is all veal. So there's 3 different decks that you pull from based on the mission. Then there is... Oh, crap. Oh, yeah, the Klingon Civil War, which I believe is 2v2 teams, and you have to build your own fleet to negotiate a peace treaty with the Klingons or something.
That one person's the Klingons?
No, I think that's 2v2, and you're both trying to fight to be the person that
Can defeat the Klingons. So to
negotiate a peace treaty with
Yeah.
the Klingons. And then the third one is Borg Encounter or something like that, where it's everybody versus the game. So it's everyone has to defeat the Borg.
It's nice to have that kind of variety in the card.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I said,
Show.
as a separate deck, a separate mission deck for each one of these scenarios, so they get shuffled in with with some of the regular cards and will affect the game as it goes on, and will give you different objectives and stuff like that. And the Borg, it looks quite interesting. The Borg one has has cards that basically stink up your deck, and when they get pulled, when the Borg kind of flip, they automatically turn over loads of your guys, and you have to fight against them, or they add to the strength of the Borg.
Hand disruption as well, or deck disruption.
Yeah, basically. So,
Sounds pretty neat.
it's
It
fun.
sounds good.
I think we should start with the exploration one because it's 5 players, which there happens to be 5 of us, and 2, it's all VL, and we can just use it to sort of, it's
Explore.
first to 400 experience or something like that,
Cool.
I start with 300.
minus 300.
Makes me on 0. That's good.
But there you go. Excellent. So there we go. So yeah, this is the Star Trek, the Next Generation version of the game. There are actually 3 versions of this game. We might have talked about it previously. There's Next Generation,
Original series?
the first one, and then there's Next Generation, the New Wave, or the Next Wave, or something like that. And I believe it just builds on this game, and they can be used together, and they can be used separately.
It's
and
an
that kind of stuff.
expansion kind of thing.
Well, it is its own game. In its right, you can play that one on its own. It just has different objectives and different cards compared to this one.
Cool.
And then there's the original series game. So that's obviously based in the original series Star Trek.
Captain Kirk
There you
with
go.
a green lady on
Captain
a
Kirk,
random
Captain
moon somewhere and solves the problem. Job done.
Yeah. Hello. And Mr. Sulu, of course. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, so I watched a few videos of how to play it online. Just how to basically do the mechanics. Don't worry, I'm not sneaking my victory in advance.
What else?
Although I will crush you all. But yeah, so we're going to give this a try. And then we will report back in a little bit and tell you how it all went.
Ooh. I did have one point of news quick that I forgot about.
Go on.
No, what I was up to. I play a rock, paper, shotgun Blood Bowl League.
Nobody cares.
They do, because I managed to get doubles on my level up for my Beast of Nurgle. So now he has block. Yeah! And that's it, carry on.
That's awesome. I bought a new keyboard. That's how much people care.
Kill you.
So yeah, excellent. So yeah, we're going to play this game.
No, we're not.
You guys enjoy this song.
No, we won't.
I'll punch Dave in the chops.
You can try.
Okay. And yeah, join us in a bit where we will tell you how it all went.
Or don't.
Meow.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Attic Gaming Club. So yeah, we've just finished, well, I say finished, we never seem to finish anything, but we've just played a few turns, a decent amount of the Star Trek deck building game Next Generation. So what does everyone think?
Like it.
I quite enjoyed it. Pleasantly surprised because I don't like Star Trek as a concept.
Uh-oh.
It
That was Tom. Letters of complaints to Tom.
It just doesn't do it for me. For people with the funny ears and the weird monkey things, it's not for me.
Weird monkey
monkey
things
thing?
are Ferengis, apparently.
Oh,
Called
Ferengi.
Tar. He looks like a monkey. Anyway,
Racist.
regardless of that, I quite enjoyed it because once you separate it from it being Star Trek and sort of focus on the mechanics of the game, I think it's pretty cool. It's where it essentially works is the aim is to basically take over other ships and fulfill missions and what have you to get victory points to win. And the way you do those is with 4 resources, which are your speed, your attack, diplomacy, which any of us ever seem to get.
I had 3 by that last turn.
And then shield. And for the most part, it's fairly self-explanatory what those will do. For example, attack means you can blow up other ships more easily. Shields mean you'll take less damage when you fight them. Speed means you can destroy them before they shoot you. So more or less all as you'd expect. And this is quite nice trying to balance out what resources you want to go for and which ones you're going to need, because you only get to draw 5 cards. So every now and then you'll just get absolutely shafted, like I did by drawing something where I had to get 10 diplomacy or my ship blows up.
It was It was 2 cards away from being drawn again as well. I just checked in the deck.
And I drew it twice in a row.
Yeah. So it would have come out, if we'd have done it, it would have come out on Dan's turn.
So actually having your ship blown up isn't that big of a deal, but it does hurt your consistency a bit because it puts a rubbish card back into your deck, which is just annoying. So when you're only drawing 5 cards, if one of them's something which is fine in the early game, but in the late game you don't want it anymore, which is why you're upgrading them.
Yeah.
So a little bit annoying, but when that happens. But I quite like that mechanic. It's sort of a risk reward between trying to get lots of VPs and sometimes it can go wrong.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed it.
Nice. Dan?
Yeah, first deck building game that I've actually played.
I was going to say, you seem to struggle at the beginning of it, because obviously it's something you're not used to, especially with the heavy magic mindset you've got.
Yeah, but yeah, it seems pretty fun. I think I was slowly getting to grips with it by the end, at least understanding what I'm allowed to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed fun, and I'd definitely like to play it again, and maybe get a full game in, just so I understand what the fuck I'm doing a little bit more than anything.
We started a bit late today, so it kind of screwed us over with playing all the games, but...
and also, whenever you play a new game, like when we first played Among the Stars, there's a lot of checking
Rule reference,
work,
sure.
Whereas when by the sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th time we played it, it's more or less straight through. Getting 2 games in the night instead of not being able to finish 1.
Yeah. But no, I agree. I think it was really good fun. I mean, it does have a certain amount of kind of fan servicey stuff. Like if you are a Trekkie or even just a fan, or if you've watched some of the series, then every single card has...
We were pulling cards out and going, oh, it's so-and-so, and oh, look, it's that bit from that one, and blah, blah, blah. But if you're not, then you're just going to lose out on that part of it. But
a lot of the missions are based on episodes in total, and the effects of the missions have effects similar to what happened in the actual episode. So without trying to spoil anything, there was one that we pulled quite early on, which was called Forget Me, I believe. Remember Me. And essentially it's based on an episode of TNG where all of the crew start disappearing, or people start and only one person can remember them, and it's to do with some space anomaly or something like that, or somebody's, I can't remember exactly, but they're whatever, for whatever reason one character in the show can remember everyone that was on the ship, but everyone else, when somebody disappears, everyone else forgets them. And they keep losing the members of the crew until there's 2 people left on the ship. And the character's like, why can't you remember any of these people? You know, are we piloting this ship on our own? And the other character's like, yeah, it's just me and you in space on our own in a ship that's designed for 1,000 people. But they're entirely convinced that that's the genuine reason why they're out there. Anyway, but the effect of the card is that everyone has to start discarding characters or... like ensigns or lieutenants or commanders from their deck into the discard pile at the beginning of each turn.
So there's a nice tie-in.
Yeah, so, the effect of the card ties in with the effect of the... with what happened in the show. But even if you don't like Star Trek, it's just a mechanic, so you can appreciate it for the fact that it's a fun game mechanic, that's something a bit different, and each one of these missions is different.
Which you can just get on with it and play the game, so...
Yeah, exactly. And that brings me on to the point which I'd like to talk about, which is I really like the fact that the cards are all different.
Yeah.
A lot of these deck building games like Dominion or Tanto Cuore or Core Worlds, a lot of the cards that you pull from are the same card. You'll pull out 10 stacks of each card, and that whole stack does exactly the same thing. And each turn you're buying cards, but you know that they're exactly the same. There's only ever going to be a maximum of 10 different cards in your deck. Whereas this, like 90% of the cards are unique?
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot harder to work out combos, and a lot harder to work out, how the cards are going to interact with each other. But in my opinion, more fun to play.
Definitely, yeah.
The one thing I didn't like about it, which I did like in Core Worlds, is that there's no scaling in this. You just have the deck of missions and ships, and you pull straight from that.
Yeah.
And what it can mean is, it's very, very, I thought, luck dependent. Because, for example, on, say, the last 3 that I drew, 2 of them were cards that absolutely screwed me over.
Yeah.
And then the third was something which was really powerful I couldn't touch. Whereas Sam was able to draw, I think, in fairly short succession, 2 relatively minor and easy to destroy ships, and got well ahead in big points. He was literally halfway to winning the game. So some sort of escalation, I think, would be nice. But sort of early on, when you don't have very many victory points, your ship, you don't have very many characters to play, and what have you, you don't draw those cards where if you can't fulfill these really taxing conditions, your ship is going to explode.
Yeah.
Whereas later on in the game, you might be able to, and then you start to get the bigger ships. As
Well,
opposed
we
to
learned that lesson early on, though. Cause I definitely did. After I got blown up by that meteor strike, because I couldn't get enough damage to shoot the rocks down or whatever. I steer clear of the space deck.
Well, I think
trying to build my deck up and go through stages and things like that. So I think maybe it's once you're a bit more confident in your ability, then you can start gambling.
It pushes you towards a slower game, I think, than Core Worlds, when you're trying to get all the points right now. Whereas in this, you kind of, I don't want to go in there yet, because if I draw that, I'm not going to get anything from it, or if I draw this, I'm going to get hurt. So maybe
as a counterpoint, though, I thought Core Worlds itself was it was fun, it was good. I liked the way it worked, but I thought it was over too quickly. It seemed to rush through. By the time you feel like you're starting to get a deck together, the game's just finished, and you're like, oh shit, I want to do a bit more.
Core Worlds is limited to 8 turns, 10 turns.
10, I think.
10 turns. Whereas this,
well, maybe it was 8.
We must have done around about 7 or 8 turns each in this, I think, and we were not even halfway towards winning the game. So I think it makes a much longer game, which I think none of us were really anticipating going into. I think we've all played games like Among the Stars, Core World, get your points, get them on the board, get them quickly. Whereas this is much more...
It's the first time as well, though, so maybe after a couple of goes we'll get into a rhythm with it, and then straight away we'll be able to knock the games out.
I think it's good that different games force you to play in different ways. Otherwise, just buy one game and only play that.
I think perhaps this game is less suited to your general play style, Tom, because it feels, and we touched on it earlier on, where it's more random.
Randomness doesn't do it for me.
No, it's
the universe is random. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's as you saw yourself. You pulled out a card that destroyed you in a turn because you were unable to meet the conditions. And then you pulled it again the next turn. Because it.
Burn on you for doing that, though. Q clearly hates you. It's just fuck Tom.
It's a deck of how many? 40 odd cards.
Yeah.
25 plus 15 chips. So yeah.
So 40 cards. So maybe 3 or 4 would come out. So 36 odd cards. So you draw it once, which is okay, whatever. It's not that unlikely. Then it gets shuffled back in. And draw it again the very next time.
I think the worst point was the first time round you shouldn't have actually drawn it because... Well, you may have done, I think, because Sam was meant to do something that shuffled the deck so it wouldn't have been on top.
That was it, yeah.
But still, once would have been enough.
I think it that's what makes the game stand out as much more of a casual, fun, easygoing game as opposed to a game that you could be played competitively or... as like a pick-up game between people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that solidity. Yeah. It doesn't have that kind of defined nature where something like Dominion can be played competitively.
You can do all the card counting and the setting, your abilities and your sets that are going on. You can figure out strategies.
And everyone knows. And by the same token, I think that this game is one of those where, my main problem with things like... what was that game? Among the Stars. Great game, enjoyed it. But it always feels like the games are, 10 points separating. Yeah, last. And it feels like here. Yeah, basically, it feels like here. If you suck and you're not really paying attention, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose hard, sort of thing, And obviously, there's the random nature which could force you to lose anyway. But generally it seems like the sort of game that if you get good at it and you start seeing combos, you're going to be able to pull away quicker and start improving your game at it.
This one I think is all about building consistency within your deck, getting hold of a handful of good cards, and then starting to dip into the mission piles.
Yeah.
And
that was my point. You've got to wait a bit.
And also pacing yourself against the other players, where if you're a little bit ahead, there's no need to keep drawing more cards.
Yeah.
Because if you draw a bad one, then that's your deck. That's your deck's consistency hurt. So, let them take their risk and try and catch up.
Well, then we had that card that just switched the flagship for the lowest and highest mission points. I mean, it could be pointless. It could mean that you just swap 2 basic flagships because Sam was the only guy with a more advanced flagship upgrade, whereas everyone else was on the starting one. So it may have done nothing, but by the same token, it could, as it did for me, it meant I went from a shit ship to a really good one. Which was cool.
Yeah, and we haven't really, obviously since it's our first game and we didn't even finish that one, it's worth mentioning that there are different missions.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's 2 other things, and they sound quite fun, and like you've got the team play and then the co-op.
Yeah, so that adds extra dimensions.
Yeah, we did a free for them. Is it then a 2v2 and a 4 players versus the deck?
It might be 5
or 5.
4 or 5.
The 2v2 is obviously 4 players.
But just touching on those 2. It's interesting now because I can see how they work more. So they replace these decks replace the space deck. So if we're playing against the Borg, for example, you're not going to get the Q card that screwed you over twice. You're not going to get all those really random missions. They're all very.
So there's another deck that we haven't used.
There's 2.
Deck that
two.
Cool.
There's the Klingon War deck, and then there's the
Borg deck.
The Borg deck.
Oh, that's cool.
These are cards that are actually going to...
So it's not even just variations within the same set of cards, there is actually a new element that comes into it. Obviously
exactly.
The Starbase deck remains the same, so you're buying the same resources as it
yes, but and it looks like we'll start with Bird of Prey in the Klingon deck, but it's 0008. Nobody can hear you farting, Dave, so there's no point in looking at me like that.
I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at that as if to say, please don't say anything about the fact that I just farted on the mic, which failed.
Not directly on the mic.
No.
Anyway, so
although it smells like it.
But it makes it interesting, and you've got these different gameplay modes that I think will change the way the game plays.
It's Bank Holiday Monday. No, Bank Holiday next week.
Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday.
Yes.
We've got that coming up, so we might be able to get a longer gaming session and play a couple of games.
Yeah.
And then
I hope we can play more than a couple of games in 4 days.
A few things I was thinking more before doing the next. Or we could do the next recording a couple of days later if we're all going to be here.
Yeah. So I mean, anyone that's listening to us regularly, there's no guarantee that next. I put them up on Mondays, so chances are that the next recording will come either a day later if we play on Monday, or it will be exactly on time, but it might be a bonus bumper issue. So yeah. But we will see how that goes.
Definitely something I think we're all quite keen to play again.
Yes, definitely. I want to.
Agreed.
Excellent. Well, yeah, so that was Star Trek, the deck building game, the TNG original version. That's by Bandai. So, yeah.
They have quite an extensive merchandise and game selection outside of their computer games.
I saw that they did an Uncharted game today. Uncharted board game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get one through work. But yeah, so cool, excellent. Well, we'll probably touch on this game again later, but hopefully you've enjoyed listening to our thoughts on it so far, and maybe after we've played a couple of games, we'll be able to give some more in-depth analysis.
Where can the listeners get in touch with us, Adam?
I'm glad you asked, Dave. Hopefully by now you're listening to us through iTunes or through our website. You can search us on iTunes, Attic Gaming Club, or you can go directly to our website and download the MP3s of our podcast, or listen to us on the site itself. That's atticgamingclub.libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com. Or if you want, this is probably still going to be on YouTube, so you can go and search us Attic Gaming Club on YouTube. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, the same addresses, so please feel free to leave us some comments, or if you want us to play a particular game or talk about something more or less, feel free to let us know on our Facebook, Twitter or YouTube account. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed listening to us today. Please do let us know. And we will catch you in a week's time. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.